Well, good afternoon, late afternoon, early eve, whatever. It all depends on where you are in the world, I suppose. The audio version, folks, is gaining traction all over the place. So many other countries. It's pretty wild. When's Rumble going to up its game and give us the analytics that podcast app through the audio version, sending it out to the multitude, is gathering all that? And this is a sole platform and we don't get any of that type of analytics. Come on, Rumble, step it up. Bear with me a moment. Just verify some of the streams in fact are active. Just enjoy this cheesy freaking elevator music, will you? Pretty bold titles for today. Yes, this is a warning to Americans. We're going to expose a direct threat from a terrorist. If you haven't seen this is incredible footage. I can't wait to dive into it. And yes, more regarding Charlie Kirk. And I believe it's all relative. It's not like we're squirreling. But that new footage is extremely telling. All right, enough. Let's just jump into it. Welcome to a muzzled chat. Now, I genuinely couldn't figure out what type of tunage to potentially throw on for the quick little intro monologue prior to diving into the content. But this will help keep me calm. And there's nothing, as much as I want to put emboldening, fire you up type of tunage, I don't think it's really tapping into what we're really up against here, folks. And we're talking about lives at stake. This isn't just coming from me, folks. I know we are going to have some incredibly dark days ahead in the very near future. I do believe some of the events and the darkness is in fact going to be darker than we have experienced yet in our mortal lives thus far. I feel it. Most I talk to in this space, even outside this space, feel it. There were just so many personal conversations in lieu of Charlie's death that we're just even spreading, hey, be cautious today. Draw near our Father in heaven. There's a weight in the air. I don't know if that's resonating with you, but I'm feeling it more and more as time's going on. And it is not just a feeling. With some, it's simply intuition or caused by instinct or by assessing all the writing on the wall or spiritual revelation. It could be prophetic in nature. Or hearing the very threats being spoken right from the mouth of some of the very evil, powerful people themselves. Could also come from assessing history and no, not the history we were taught in our schools. The threat level has just skyrocketed in this country, and we'll cover it. And it's both on an individual level and as a people. The threat of another 9/11 type event has just gotten more real than ever before. The purpose of sharing this information today, queued up in this very episode, is not to spread doom and gloom. Don't be mistaken. It's to help us snap out of the slumber that we have been lulled into. It is far past time we start responding appropriately to the wartime we find ourselves in, even acknowledging that. Let me ask you this. Would the NFL game even matter to you if you knew someone was targeting one of your loved ones as you watched it? I really want you to ponder that. Let this information help us all seize this rapidly fleeting moment of preparation we have. And there's probably even far more important preparations to have than even the mortal physical. I believe that the most important preparation we can do, other than the physical, immortal, is sharing information such as this and having the discussions necessary, holding nothing back. Because that time of catering to folks' feelers and coddling them, in my eyes, no longer exists if we want to utilize our time effectively. I believe our number one defense to what is coming is to properly acknowledging the very threat. Let the world know that we see it. Think about it. In a wartime where propaganda, false flags, lies, and deception is rampant, this becomes our greatest weapon against what they want to throw our way. If in fact we effectively see it for what it is, then how can they actually do it? There are so many other preparations I feel that are important, but those more so come naturally once an individual properly acknowledges the very looming threat. So with that, enough for me for now. Let's pull up this screen. Please absorb what this amazing individual and how he wrote it up. Going into this footage, we must study this video carefully. The individual in this video, he is very openly broadcasting to the world all their next moves. Number one, TikTok belongs to them now. Expect mass censorship also rigging there. 2, your favorite influencer is already owned by them. Expect them to start shilling hard for them. You know what? Let's play it. We'll finish reading this after so you understand what they're saying. But my gosh, this is a world leader. I don't know. You'd have to be living under some type of rock, not already knowing this face. Listen. It's a direct threat to this country and us. Me. You.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right. And you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're movies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. Do that.
Once again, he's talking about us, the American people. Our God-given right of free speech. Just went over how they must fight back. And one of the means right there he just covered, money.
That community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time.
Tools of battle. Weapons change over time. Please indulge us. What lengths are you actually willing to go? Prime Minister Netanyahu, that this current administration has now verified, spent over $22 billion, funnel money right into that man's hands pockets. President Trump, when are you going to make a statement regarding what this prime minister, a foreign country's leader, that you're... Are you going to address this at all? At all. He's threatening your constituents, the ones you're supposedly elected to serve. You're just going to try sweeping this under the rug? Dare I say he won't address it, because he addresses that it can't end there. Like, he can't properly...
You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into.
Drones, things like that. So yes, he's talking about the tools and weapons and how they've changed. Okay, what other things as of late can we see? Mossad, his specialty assassination groups. I mean, whatever. We know they're proficient. The assassinations through Mossad with rifles, things of that nature. Okay. Pagers come to mind. And that wasn't just specific to Lebanon. That was all over the world, by the way. Europe, other places. So we don't need to know any more than what he just vocally admitted right there as to what lengths they're willing to go to. And he's talking about America's influencers. Charlie Kirk was one of those. So many others. So, why is it so important to him to go to these lengths on buying? I mean, this is suppressing voices 100% in content. And he'll, in addition, talk about how other means of suppressing our voices, and it's through none other than the current Times Square we use to use our voices. The biggest Times Square there is, known as social media platforms. Just hear him out.
To that, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media.
Unbelievable.
The most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through, because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. Exactly. Very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends, or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
Wow. To the point of even this word. Please, I am begging every one of you, and not just to study it yourself. Have discussion with your family members. What does this mean to you? Don't even inject your view. Just be like, what does this mean to you? Please study this video carefully. Yes, they are broadcasting their very next moves, and moves they have been utilizing for a very long time. Define terrorist for me, or just ponder that. What does that mean to you? We've been taught, kind of like Ian Carroll's, as to how the Muslim in 9/11, because that was just, it was just so near and dear, but they really stood up the Islam threat. So it's almost like everyone associates a terrorist with that type of image. No, a terrorist, it doesn't have bias like that. anyone, any shape, any color, any size, any nationality, any historical, any genetics, anywhere in the globe can effectively commit terrorist activity. And I think the dumbest down version, if we bust out our crayons and drew the picture, it would look something like anyone committing violent acts against civilians, essentially innocent people. That would be a terrorist. Any act, any violent act, especially unprovoked, not anticipated, not prepared. That man just openly admitted to actively engaging in bribery. And if that doesn't work, terrorist, basically any means necessary, using, let's go ahead. I have some notes on this. Once again, quote, "We are going to have to use the tools of battle." Quote, "The weapons change over time." What are we talking about specifically here? Well, then he did the mic drop stating drones, things like that. True terrorist activity. Drones to videotape us? No, that's not. No. Don't be fooling ourselves here. I won't get into that. He didn't need to state any more. But can we pause right there and ask why? Because the why is important. After all, he's talking about the influencers here in America that cannot be bought out. He is talking about me and many of you, Charlie Kirk. He doesn't have to share the descriptive info on plans. And as to why he didn't share that, those acts of terrorism, is for one simple reason. So those acts they're planning on doing stay effective. And that's kind of two front. If we knew, we could properly more so defend. But if we knew, if he really put that out, I venture to say at this point, he could say it all. And half of us wouldn't even be willing to drink it and absorb the meaning itself and the very threat. After all, this is the man that, quote, talking about 9/11, look at his book that he wrote prior to 9/11, published prior to 9/11, that he did many of interviews prior to 9/11 that stated, quote, "If America doesn't take the Muslim threat serious enough, the Twin Towers will fall." If we really ask the whys regarding all of that, and then so sure enough, we believe all that. We believe the narrative of 9/11 where planes supposedly flew in with all these other eyewitnesses that didn't get aired, by the way, stating there was no plane, it was bombs that went off. Anyway, I digress. I mean, everything from the towers falling, I'm sorry, the point there was a structural, simple physics don't explain, in fact, what took place. Small mass, large mass. If there was structural, let's say failure, on that section that the plane or bomb, whatever, took place, I'm sorry, it would at minimum break off in a different manner. It would follow the path of least resistance. Basic physics, 101. It wouldn't reach near free fall speeds, collapsing in and on itself. Both of them. And then also building 7. But anyway, I digress. We followed suit and believed his other lie, that Iraq itself had nuclear power, nuclear bombs. We were told that by none other than this deceiver time and time and time again. And after millions and lots of our own men and women died, But after millions being slaughtered over there, guess what we found out? There's no nuclear threat. Nothing. He's still screaming now wolf regarding Iran. Ian Carroll's Creating Israel really paints the picture as to why all this is the way it is. And it's so important that we go down it. But let's not get too distracted on this very threat. It's just wild that we haven't connected the dots on so many other things historically. And this individual is still in any position of power to this day. I don't get it. Let's just continue sharing more information, shall we? Just some of the notes I had. Now let's dive into some of the origins about Netanyahu. After all, he's the one that is pressuring our administration here, a foreign entity, leader. Don't ask me how, but he's got Trump signing all sorts of executive orders. We must stomp out anti-Semitism. Define anti-Semitism. What does that even really mean? It's just another shield for evil to hide behind and silence us right here on our own turf. Let's dive into his origins, because what's Semitic about even playing clips? This already in and of itself would be labeled anti-Semitic. So anyway, let's just humor me. This is a minute and 33. It goes into, and you can verify this. It's so easily done. He's Polish. He changed his name. He was planted there by the banking cabal, the Rothschilds. The blood that was even shed to reestablishing this land in 1948 by the evil that exists in the world today, and we believe it as though it's tied into the Bible's chosen people, Semites, the Israelis. It was established by very evil men through very evil means, relatively recent in modern day time. But I digress. Hear this out.
This is Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. This is his son, Yair Netanyahu. Yair was supposed to be drafted into the so-called war and was supposed to join Zionist forces in the fighting. However, Yair decided to dodge the draft, where 350,000 reserve soldiers were called upon to go back to the Zionist entity and serve. Yair fled to Miami to hide out. This is Yair Netanyahu's DNA test that has been leaked. You can see right there his Y DNA is RM198. Descendants of RM198 come from Poland, Russia, Germany, and other European countries. Does this look Semitic to you? Does this look Middle Eastern? Nope, it looks like a colonizer. Benjamin Netanyahu is actually Polish, his real name being Benzion Milakowski. He changed his name to Netanyahu to sound more Middle Eastern or more foreign, I don't know. Both of his parents were in fact born in Poland, and all of his family ancestry and obviously his DNA comes from Poland. Netanyahu added this bit into his Wikipedia page, which I find really funny. It says, while his family is predominantly Ashkenazi, he has said that a DNA test revealed that he has some Sephardic ancestry. If you don't know, Sephardic were the Spanish Jews that were originally from the Middle East. But how is Benjamin Mikołowski claiming that he has Sephardic ancestry when his son's DNA is literally Polish? Zionists try so hard to be Middle Eastern. It's embarrassing to say the least. Not only do they change their last names, but they also lie about their DNA.
Right. You could look into that. Verify it for yourself. That's enough. Understand something. He's threatening any level of influencer, and it doesn't matter how ranked you are, how impactful. Obviously, it just makes sense in a world like address the priorities, the bigger threats more so than others. But I see so many that have been blessed and given platforms wouldn't dare play this and really question what this demonic individual stated right here in the acts of terrorism and the lengths he's willing to go against. It's essentially labeled influencer. It's anyone willing to even speak out against them. So they've tried, and this administration tried on behalf of them to, in fact, enforce anti-free speech measures to stomp out anti-Semitism. We've responded in kind of enough to, not let it get entirely. It's not like I wouldn't be able, if it got that bad, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here today. However, as he's talking to his class here, they're willing to take matters into their own hands at this point. So if this wasn't a hill I was willing to die on, then I'd literally just be expressing my own sanity or potentially death wish. But no, I'm very much happy with my life. I want to continue to fight on behalf of all of us, free ourselves of our oppressors. I genuinely feel we could bring more people into Christ and literally have a land of abundance when we stop falling prey to all the divisive, constructed bull crap in this country and world we live in and unite as one. We've lots more, I don't know, I suppose thoughts from me, but I want to keep things on track and also kind of shift into how this ties into, I believe, the very information regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Because the new footage that has come out, once again, doesn't support. And there's so many individuals. Ryan Matta is one of them. So many others, Redacted, Clayton, and it's gaining traction. Essentially, what I can say truly convincingly at this point is the FBI is fulfilling just that yet again. Surprise, surprise. However, so many are willing to give that credibility, and whether individuals are falling prey, even as close to Charlie as like Erica, for example, she's giving credibility in the memorial service, in the prayer, the theatrical memorial service. I don't understand why it was like mimicked a WWE or F or whatever you would call it. And it was, anyway, but I digress. To the point of even speaking out forgiveness to this shooter, it's building it out like, oh, it's a case closed situation. Even she, so whether she's falling prey, taking the money, Charlie is supposed to, wow, I'm tripping over words, to deny and not accept from this other world leader. Who's to say? All I do know, there's a lot of speculation, right? And a lot of people are even calling it like Charlie Kirk fatigue or something at this point. And believe you me, in the video footage I want to share, there's nothing graphic. Don't worry about it. And we don't need anything additionally graphic. They could actually honor this man, everything he stood for, with the additional footage that is clearly being withheld from us. And there's only one reason: to withhold information from the masses. There is a great distrust issue in our country, and they must mend that. But the continuum of covering things up and the lack of transparency is only going to yield what? They don't care about that. They just want to rule, and they're really effectively doing that without really proper pressure back. So why would they even need to change the methods even up to this point? But I digress. All I'm trying to drive home is that the official narratives are falling apart entirely. In fact, there's no credibility to them at all, unless you, in fact, give credibility to liars and deceivers. So with that, by the way, this is Treason. Some of Ryan Maddez, I wanted to give a plug. He's doing tremendous work. I'm going to start buying up some of these documentaries with money I don't have, but I find it important we support the warriors that are willing to do the hard work. So, yeah, the one thing that is clear is our government, our FBI is lying to us. That's the only thing. We could speculate on so many other things, but essentially, there's a lot of other information that exists regarding the situation, and they could either put the rumors to rest by releasing, and we'll go over some of that, the clear evidence that does exists. And the thing is, I get that some can make the excuse, well, and believe you me, I don't want to see any more angles and more blood, and it's so horrific. My heart goes out. But there's a way we could even tastefully blur, take out some of the audio that really wouldn't be important. We don't have to relive that moment. But I guarantee that other footage being released would just verify this new angle in high def. And don't worry, they've already tastefully addressed. It's not like you're rewatching anything insanely horrific, but I genuinely believe, and I'm not just a weekender type, I only listened to Charlie's podcast like 3 times, and I went to his memorial service, I was the most devout. No, I'm not pedestaling. I listened to him for years, and I had a pretty good grasp as to the actual foundation he was laying, and he wants transparency. He wanted the Epstein and everything to be released. So in regards to his own death, that was the hill he was willing to die on. And the fact, there's no excuse not to release what clearly exists. But check this out.
Oh, way. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
This is the Israeli company that went and grabbed the device or whatever it is, allegedly.
Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his T-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white T-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we...
Okay. It doesn't even take a rifleman to understand a round won't cause smoke coming out of a shirt. It won't even cause a shirt to move. Like all this movement, his shirt in the front is happening from over here to over here. Now, I knew he was wearing a type of necklace, and there's a chance that, the elevated portion over here might just be from this igniting and having it swing around the neck and raising the other side of the shirt, not with enough momentum to have that parcel break through the shirt, and then the shirt snaps back. But I'm just saying to look at this, because what this changes everything. Once again, we're not to believe these untrustworthy institutions, nor our governments. And once again, this just highlights the importance of seeing past any of that, and that we as a people become the checks and balance to this country as our founding fathers saw fit. And it's gotten way too big. We need to tear it all down, rebuild it brick by brick, and minimize its overreach. I don't know how we keep falling hook, line, sinker to red flag events and things. like many situations, to our demise, emboldening our own government to throttle even hate speech. They're the ones that are promoting that even type of think. Yeah, this angle shows so much, and we have more to share on other cameras that were at minimum 4K, and it wasn't at the distance. This is third time zoom now, but look how high def, because this was a quality camera. It possibly 90 or 100 plus yards away. There were this level of cameras within 5 feet, 2 of them to the left side of Charlie Kirk, our right, as we look at this. That will never be released. And we don't need to see the gore. We don't need to see this, a life being taken. There's a way you can blur that out and yet show exactly. And if it supports their narrative, they will release it. Believe you me. But if it doesn't, they will withhold it from you. And there's a big difference from a lone gunman that they could paint LGB on versus a big assassination operation, just like JFK and so many other examples.
We saw that exit wound.
Look at the
First,
shirt.
we had exploding pagers. Now we have
A
exploding
round would
mics.
not cause
Do you
all
remember
that
the vector
motion.
analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Gang violence. Great.
It does look sus to me. I think that's a little bold for Stu to even mention, as though it is. And when you see here in the timing of it, it's sus. And then the aftermath of their reactions and all these handoffs, it is not chaos, natural. I mean, it's hard for us to even, say what we would do in these situations. But there's so many things about what he does highlight here that just stinks to high heaven. Just bear with me. We're gonna share some stuff from Candace Owens, Ryan Matta on this matter, and then wrap things up once again with the Netanyahu. But it's all tied together. It's not so much the facts we need to address at this point. We need to address that we can't trust anything we're being told anymore these days. Why are we giving over our power?
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound.
This response. I don't think you caught all that, but they'll walk through it.
After someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator.
Okay, so he just cleared a table, folks. He just cleared a table to do what? He grabs something off Charlie, steps over and hands it to this other fella, or grabs another thing from the other fella, and then takes off. That doesn't even make sense. Why did you just clear a table to... And now it looks like the only thing that made sense that he cleared that table was he was going to supply aid to Charlie Kirk. That's the only thing that makes sense on clearing that table, unless you're part of the hit and you're grabbing evidence and getting out of there. What is he doing? That's the one that mysteriously grabbed his sleeve. Now it's speculative. We don't know definitively. man grab something and run. And then he takes off.
We had John Cullen on the program last week, and he made a great point about ballistic acoustics being altered to hide the location of the real shooter. Well, the same can be said to distract from the fact that there was no shooter. Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. This guy, brown shirt guy, he's the assassin.
I think we missed something in the beginning. Yeah, this particular, like, this actually was showing the heat signature of it.
Take a look at the lavalier. Check this out.
If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
This is the Israeli company that went and grabbed the
Very, very interesting.
device or what.
All I can say is just don't believe the lies that we're being told. And more to share in just one sec. Let's see. Yeah, personally, in lieu of Netanyahu and what he just stated, I do believe the evidence we have and the lack of evidence that we do not have only paint the same picture regarding Charlie's assassination. And now I feel it's safe to say that in those unexplainables, Netanyahu wouldn't, that we should be adding exploding lapel mics to his tools of battle and change of weapons used, description quotes that he stated regarding anyone willing to speak out. He chalked anyone up as loony and insane. Unbelievable. Those are just weaponized words trying to once again get individuals to not ask questions. And once again, those methods, as Netanyahu expressed so clearly, was to be used on the Americans that cannot be bought out. From some of the closest individuals to Charlie, they expressed that Charlie was just that, not purchasable. Lapel microphones. I mean, just use your own critical thinking. That shirt would not dance around the way it did from any round. Period. Period. It would penetrate right through it with hardly any movement. Okay, pretty awesome job by Ryan Matta. Give this a listen. Regarding some of the tech that existed right there, and there's only one reason why that information is not being released.
So now I want to talk about the cameras, okay? All of the cameras that were surrounding Charlie Kirk, the turning point cameras, the 4K, actually these things look like they might be they're most likely a Sony of some sort, probably a Sony FX30 with some type of G Master lens setup and all of the bells and whistles to go along with it, all the transmitters, the receivers, the wireless this, the wireless that. These things are probably recording in 4K, if not 6K. Probably some of the clearest, crispiest, cleanest footage you could possibly get your hands on. And I want to show you the position of these cameras. Check this out. So the video you're watching here, this is of Charlie's team right before, like literally as he's about to get shot right there. Now you can see we have two individual cameras. These are mostly likely, judging by the looks, I can definitely tell that they're G Master lenses, which must mean they're Sonys. So you're probably looking at a Sony FX3 or a Sony FX30, most likely the FX3. So it's very, very specific. Look at the size of this camera. And you can tell these cameras are filming in 30 frames per second, 4K, at least, if not 6K cameras. So when you talk about videography and photography and you talk about filming and frame rates, everything's important. Size is critical. The difference between a 720p and a 4K video is literally like that. It would be like, so if we do this from ground up here, a 720p video is there, a 4K video is that size. So when it comes time to like expanding and scaling in and seeing every little detail, you've seen the video that Blake shared with you. You've seen how far away that guy was filming from.
Yes.
Because of the quality and the frame rate, he was literally able to zoom in literally within like this far distance from Charlie Kirk
See,
and
just
catch
as
the
clear.
explosion coming out of his shirt. So these turning point videos that are literally right next to Charlie, within 4 feet of Charlie, they would show every detail, every speck. Now, would they actually catch the object entering his neck, traveling at about 400 to 500 feet per second? Even if it was 300 feet per second, at 300 feet per second, you should catch a streak. You might even catch like a blurred object literally as it's entering his neck. Like, that's how good that footage would be, specifically the video that's right in front of him. So now, this device that was on his neck that exploded, my original thought was, well, where did it go? Okay, you see it on his shirt, and you literally see it like it's moving straight towards his neck, and then all of a sudden, the next frame, it's gone. One frame, it's here. One frame, it's here. The next frame, it's completely gone.
Right.
So either it shot off and bounced off his neck, or maybe that's what ended up going up in his shirt, because you see his shirt get pulled off to the side like this, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it that made that? To me, it looks like a fragment or a bullet or whatever exploded in his shirt, literally shot on the inside of his shirt and went like that. Because it was like quick, right? It was like something tried to like penetrate out his shirt. Your shirt just doesn't blow up. If you blew air through the shirt, the whole thing would go out, right? But it wasn't the whole thing. It was very specific pointed part of his shirt.
Right.
And it went up like that, and then it shot back like when the elastic of his shirt, like it wasn't enough to blow through his shirt, so his shirt just popped back down. And these are the cameras, and this is why I say it's so important that we get this footage. And if the Turning Point team doesn't have anything to hide, and they're not trying to basically cover up the assassination of Charlie Kirk, their boss, the man who gave them a job, the man who gave them a career, the man who built an organization so that they could feed their family, that man, the man that was literally gearing up for what looked like a 2028 presidential run, a man that was turning on Israel, a man who actually had the voice and the power of the youth and the people to turn this country around and hold all these scumbags in office accountable. That man, the man that literally gave his life fighting to defend
It's not a
freedom of
bullet.
speech. And we now have this administration coming in to pass their hate speech laws. You can't make it up any longer, guys. Like, we can't continue down the same rabbit hole and continuing going to doing the same thing. Oh, it's only been 6 months. It's only been a year. Oh, what's going to happen next time? No, now it's midterms, guys. Well, we can't risk losing some votes in the midterms, so we're just going to ignore this. But after the midterms, we're going to get them. We're going to hold them accountable. And then next thing you know, before you know, it'll be the 2028 election cycle, and just the same repetitive media, same administration, same exact bullshit. When is something going to change?
Right.
I want to know what you guys think.
Well said. Well done. I don't know a more well-researched individual on this matter than Ryan Matta. And if you just came here and scrolled through the endless hours and hours going through the campuses, revamping and truly, really, really in depth, if you want more on that, I believe just the lack of the produced information is enough. He joins Clay and his wife right here on Redacted going over. I put the link of this episode. They cover some great points, but let's just continue on. Oh no, where's Candace on? You know what? It's one of these ones. We'll find it. I think, yeah, it's the shorter running away. Okay, just listen to this, okay? This FBI is clearly not doing their job at all. Okay, independent, like her is an independent individual, journalistic instinct, reaching out, spending some of her life and hours because she wants to get to the bottom of it, is clearly doing a better job than the ones that are pedestaled as though they've got it all sorted out and figured out. This completely crumbles the whole FBI on being just that. Liars and deceivers. Who are you serving at the point you're withholding information, you're lying, and your mission you're deceiving people? Who are you serving?
That neither.
Check this out.
Before I show it to you, just to tee this up, it is just a couple of seconds after the sound of a shot rang out. Let's watch this together.
This says it all.
And we're going to just cover that. It kind of looks like he's got something trailing behind him, too. Maybe that's the towel that we've been told about. We can play that again as you watch this. Now let me tell you how I tracked down this footage. It took me all of 2 hours to track down this footage, to get the name of the person who had filmed the footage And from there, after messaging someone on Twitter, they said, I got the footage from this person. This is the person that shot it. And he's willing to speak to you. I get in touch with this individual. Okay. Very quickly. It was all transpired in a couple of hours. And you will never guess what it is that he told me. He told me that neither the feds nor the local police had ever reached out to him. Never. I'm sorry, what?
Right.
You have one of two people who have a recording of the shooter at all, right?
Supposed, alleged.
And the feds were simply not interested, as they were executing this manhunt, of reaching out to the individual who had footage of him running across the roof. How could that be? Why? Why would that be? Somebody explain to me, make it make sense for me. Maybe in the fog and the chaos, sure. But at no point did they go, hey, I see this really grainy image that's gone viral on Twitter. Maybe I should reach out to the person that made it go viral and see if I can track down that person so I can get clear data, meaning the metadata that exists, which will tell you the exact second that the person was running, to make sure it lines up with my federal timeline that I must be creating. If little old Candace is doing it, then I'm sure the feds at the top are definitely creating a second-by-second timeline just like I am. But no, they never reached out to him. Now I'll tell you what else I discovered, because a lot is going on. And we similarly, by the way, reached out to the person who shot the footage and said somebody is on the roof. We spoke about that earlier this week. He told us the exact same thing. He says he walked in and gave the footage to the Orem Police Department. Okay. Nobody, and they said, we were overwhelmed on that day one, which makes sense. Everybody contacting, calling, someone says, I have this. So it makes sense that he would be on the offense and getting them the footage. But feds never reached out to him until the 15th. After Governor Cox said the investigation was over and they had the guy, the feds reached out to him and said, hey, you're the one who shot that footage. Yeah. Did you make a police report? He said, yeah, I did. And, oh, really? We didn't know that. What do you mean you didn't know that? That this is the first time the federal government on the 15th decided to reach out to the other person who saw the person climbing the roof? I saw the person getting into the shooting position. You never reached out to him until September 15th? Yeah, my friends, that looks to me like a cover-up.
100%. Very well said. Laid out for us all, folks. Our intention isn't to go over and confuse and just infuse distrust into everything. They just epically, once again, you would only have a motive and an interest in covering things up and lacking transparency when essentially you are committing criminal activity yourself. That's it. Otherwise, especially at the point you're being questioned, you're losing trust, you're losing funding, you would release what you have to free yourself of that suspicion. So the very institutions that are utilizing the conspiracy theory labels and the weaponization of words are creating an atmosphere for conspiracy to exist. If it genuinely was this great fight against bad theorizing that is gonna wreck our democracy, it's just like, I use democracy as a clown word because whatever, we're supposed to be a republic if we could keep it. We haven't done a good job, to say the least, and not just our generation, but for generations now. And it seems we aren't one. We're not even freaking, but anyway, that's beside the point. You know what? We're going to revisit. Please keep an open mind study. We're going to revisit this. We're going to listen to the 2 minutes. Study this video carefully. He is openly broadcasting all of his next moves. And it's not just from here on. They've been doing this for a long time. And this, my friends, makes way more sense than the image of pitting us against each other like some lefty loon. This makes all the sense. Why is he taking the time to even state this when they have all these, they're a war-torn country fighting 9 different countries around them. Yet he's so focused on America's influencers that he's going to go as far as to talk about bribing. If they're not purchasable, then use their new tools of war. He's openly admitting to tactics like annihilating Charlie Kirk. Whether it was him or not, can I say definitively? No, but I know what my heart tells me. Listen to this. One last time. After all, in doing this, I am frankly just painting a bigger target on my back. And essentially what I'm trying to sound the alarm on in regards to Charlie, how many more Charlies need to face that death? I could be one of them. I don't know. I can't see the future. But the fact of the matter is, if we ignore the threat, there will be more of them. And are we going to fall for the propagandist lies, or are we going to see the direct threat of terrorism right here, right now?
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. They're insane. They're loonies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part.
What we have to do is secure that part
of the base of our support in the United States. That is
specifically talking about keeping support in the United States. He's talking about America and Americans
being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster.
Bribing, 100%, which they tried to do with $150 million alleged from people very close to Charlie, and he denied it. No.
Okay, we have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle.
Going to have to. So secondly, if the bribing doesn't work, we have to use tools of battle. Please continue, Mr. Netanyahu. What do you mean exactly?
The weapons change over time.
Weapons, and they change over time.
Can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well.
Specifically talking about fighting with swords even, but obviously admitting it doesn't work very well in today's day and age. You need more covert, more effective, taking out more than a sword would be able. So he's talking about blood. He's talking about ending people's life. War tools. That's what he's talking about.
Okay. And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that.
New things, drones, things like that. Pagers is one of the recent unbelievable lapel mic. I believe we need to add to that list of things. But the threat continues beyond this. Listen to the suppression and purchasing out. We are losing our ability. I don't understand. If we don't take this moment in time right now to the level we must in sharing this. Like this should be one of the most pressing conversations for us all to have daily till this. I mean, I'm becoming quite challenged in a lot of these group chats because they talk about genocide here or there, or all this. And I'm like, but hang on, hold the phone a sec. Yeah, it's horrific. And I've looked into some of that in other countries, and it's horrific. Yes, Christians and things like that suffering elsewhere. But at the end of the day, are our tax dollars going to the weapons, and are we directly supplying the bombs for that genocide or that war-torn country over in Africa, as an example? Or you just put your finger on the map. Are they openly bragging like this freaking demonic individual is to how they own America? They control America. They brag what they've been able to achieve, not just through AIPAC, but through the IDF. How literally they have almost 100% of our Senate owned. Almost 100% of our Congress owned. So it's like on that alone, yeah, as important as that is, and we can't turn a blind eye to what's happening over there, how are we even going to effectively approach that when we're not even addressing a foreign leader that we are supplying the bombs to? Over $20 billion this current administration already has given. This is the one thing it doesn't even matter. The former administration, we've played clip after clip of Netanyahu singing Biden's praises in the friendship. We could play clip after clip of him with our current president. This highlights so much. Connect the other dots from Mossad and Epstein, and no wonder the cover-up. We were willing to give Trump the benefit of the doubt of warp speed, killing millions at home. And if they're not dead, they've been ticking time bombs, so many of them, with turbo cancers and so much. But we've been willing to excuse, but now it becomes clear he's not Team Humanity. The wool's effectively been pulled over our eyes. Now, I do believe that, yes, any administration, there's a chance that if we effectively unite as a people, we ramp up the pressure more than the seemingly ruling class, then they're in a very tough situation, aren't they? Who do we answer to? I feel like if we don't answer to the people, we're kind of doomed. If we don't answer to the ruling class, we're kind of doomed. Look at JFK and so many others, for example, and we can't allow Charlie Kirk's memory to end up JFK and to our detriment and anti-free speech. Charlie Kirk was simply challenging the toughest polarized conversations among us so we could see the commonality, the humanity through the eyes of, through God more so than our human flaws, creating unity amongst us and not allowing that leverage of our oppressors and rulers, demons, and the devil himself. Once again, Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Jesus warns us in 3 verse 9. But let's finish this one last time because it's additional means than our individual voices. They want to control the public square to where we can't magnify our voices and effectively even have the ability to unite. Do we understand that? I don't believe we're grasping it. We're too quick to tune this type of stuff out, too heavy, get back to my life normacy. There is no normacy. There is no securing a future for your children without addressing these things. Full stop.
I won't get into that, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people. And
Elon, are you willing to sell your soul for your own protections? Elon, are you purchasable? Supposedly the billion dollar man. Are you willing to fight and potentially die for Team Humanity achieving something bigger than any amounts of riches in this world? And you could be given everything in this life and it will not amount to what God has in store on the other side. If they came for me, would it even matter? This would just be effectively suicide, effectively some left-leaning loon. I mean, at this point, I'm disassociating from all of it. They could potentially just as well now paint up a radical right-leaning individual. Are you going to drink that up? You going to take that? There's only one way we stop accepting the unacceptable time and time again. And I sure hope this helps inform us and prepare us properly. Why do we keep falling for the lies? Why do we keep getting wrapped up into our personal lives as though that's what's most important, is they murder our loved ones and also say it out loud themselves? Health services, vaccinations, lowering the world population by 10 or 15%. All the emissions of poisoning the air, the food, the water, all proven as fact. And we've gone over those facts in incredible depth on this podcast, gaining literally just not enough momentum to properly address these threats as they're continually getting ramped up. As other world leaders can openly express the intent of terrorism, the cost of my life, so many of our lives, and we do nothing? I literally feel like this is like that film, Idiocracy. Have any of you guys seen that? It's vulgar, it's distasteful, it's a lot of things. But if you haven't seen it, and as nasty as it was, is some of the imagery and things that were used, and I was just, ugh. It actually was mild compared to the world we're actually living in. So as our world we're living in is, not acknowledging, just turning a blind eye and trying to seclude ourselves on behalf, that's not helping our futuristic generations at all. Check out this trailer of Idiocracy. It goes over some of the film and then it goes over some of the... It's crazy. It's about the world dumbing down. Guy gets in a capsule, goes into the future and becomes the smartest man because the world's dumbing down. I believe this is playing out in real time. Check this out.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point.
I believe I was flying too fast. Oh, look at that. Yep. Let's just go. Yeah, let's play it there. Why not?
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point. Natural selection, the process by which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest, a process which had once favored the noblest traits of man, now began to favor different traits. Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent. But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction, a dumbing down. How did this happen? Evolution does not necessarily reward intelligence. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduced the most and left the intelligent to become an endangered species.
Having kids is such an important decision.
We're just waiting for the right time. It's not something you want to rush into, obviously.
No way.
Oh shit, I'm pregnant again!
I got too many damn kids. Thought you was on the pill or some shit.
Hell no!
Must have been thinking of Brittany.
Brittany? No, you didn't. There's no way we can have a child now. Not with the market the way it is now.
That just wouldn't make any sense.
Come on, later, bitch! He don't care about you!
Yeah, well, there must be something he likes over here.
You nothing to me, baby.
So ridiculous.
Well, we finally decided to have children, and I'm not pointing fingers, but it's not going well.
And this is helping.
I'm just saying that before I have in vitro, maybe you should be willing to...
It's always me, right?
Well, it's not my sperm count.
Yeah! I'm gonna fuck all y'all! That's my boy!
Tell me this is wrong. Tell me this is wrong.
Cleavon is lucky to be alive. He attempted to jump a jet ski from a lake into a swimming pool and impaled his crotch on an iron gate. But thanks to recent advances in stem cell research and the fine work of Drs. Krinsky and Altshuler, Cleavon should regain full reproductive function.
Put your hands off my junk!
Unfortunately, Trevor passed away from a heart attack while masturbating to produce sperm for artificial insemination. But I have some eggs frozen, so just as soon as the right guy comes along, you know.
And so it went for generations, although few, if any, seemed to notice.
At the dawn of the 21st century, the Army began a top-secret experiment.
Meet Joe Bowers, our first subject for the human hibernation experiment. As you know, this is highly classified. However, if successful, we believe humans can be stored indefinitely.
However, the trial run was prone to human error.
See you in a year.
And Joe slept slightly longer than expected. Half a millennium, to be exact. From Mike Judge, creator of Office Space and Beavis and Butthead.
Oh my God!
If you were the smartest person in the world...
This was in your mouth. This one goes in your butt. Hang on a second. This one goes in your mouth.
And we're stuck with the dumbest people in history.
If you have one bucket that holds 2 gallons and another bucket that holds 5 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
2? What would you do?
Excuse me, I'm actually supposed to be getting out of prison. You're in the wrong line. I'm the smartest guy in the world? Says who?
The IQ test you took in prison. You got the highest score in history.
Even smarter than President Camacho.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of America! In the year 2505.
We got this guy. He's gonna fix everything. So you smart, huh?
The ordinary will be considered extraordinary.
I thought your head would be bigger.
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
You get the point. Tell me that's not how things are playing out. It sure feels that way. I woke up actually today, I don't know, reflecting back on some dreams and nightmares dating back to my childhood. So I got a question. Have any of you had that dream or nightmare as a kid where a monster or a bad person or even an evil entity was chasing you? And it didn't matter how fast you ran, you couldn't lose it. It even at times led to where you couldn't run at all. It was like you would try and your legs just wouldn't work. Next thing you would try is to scream for help, just to realize you couldn't make any sound. Sometimes the setting, in fact, would change where you were trying to flee in a crowded public place. And it didn't matter how many people you would approach, plead, on your knees even, crying for help. It was as if Nobody cared. And you were left to fend alone. Did any of you have similar dreams like that at all? How terrible is that nightmare? Could in fact a nightmare get any worse than just that? I believe it could. Because all these years later, that no longer feels like some distant, made-up freaking nightmare. It feels more so as though it's some prophetic vision at this point. As an adult, here we are. And not enough of us seem to actually care to face this monster, to have any level of impact, to face this evil. Doesn't matter how hard you charge at it, how much I sit here trying to scream about it. Not enough of us. The only shift regarding my understanding of this nightmare is before it was all about saving me in my adolescent child mind. Now I know I'm saved. I'm saved. We're actually going to go over this more in the future. So with that, I had a Bible verse I was going to dive into, but I don't know. So with this realization, let me just finish that point. The only thing left that truly matters to me is saving you. Securing a better, brighter future, or fulfilling the very purpose we were sent here to do. God bless you. Until next time, take care.